Your life is sewn up. You have a respectable job, a house and a fancy car. Yet, will you have enough to retire on? Take a salary of 12,000 Rand a month. Your pension contribution is probably about 900, and your employer contributes an equal amount. So, you think you're okay. Not so, says Sid Eckley of the Pretoria Council for the Aged.
At the Pretoria Council for the Aged, we get calls virtually every day from people who run out of money, out of food, out of medical care. It's almost like falling through the cracks for them, and they've got nowhere to turn.
Around the world, systems to protect old people from poverty are failing. South Africa is not alone. In the US, it's estimated that company pension plans are underfunded with a staggering $111 billion. In the UK, pension deficits are approximately £90 billion. And last year, public pension funds in Germany faced a deficit of up to €9 billion. As for South Africa, we're still in the dark. Dave Crawford is one of the few independent retirement advisors. His files indicate that only 5% of all South Africans will retire comfortably.
Retired people in this country, unlike in America, don't form pressure groups of any consequence. So I won't say they're a soft target, but they don't seem to be able to do a great deal to defend themselves.
So, is anyone defending your interests in the retirement industry? An industry which has changed dramatically in the last 10 years, and not to your benefit.
This entire analysis and entire discussion which has been taking place for the last 10 years, nothing has been said about the pensioner. When I go to seminars, people talk about investment policies, investment strategies, benchmarks, liability of trustees. When I say, can you please tell me what is the position of pensioners? Then there's silence.
Robert Vivian is Professor of Insurance and Risk Management at WITS. He's a lone crusader who has authored 5 books on economic history and business sciences.
So my prediction is that in terms of our current system, most people who believe that they are going to go on pension one day are going to die in despair and desperation.
In June 1995, the government at that stage instigated the Smith Commission. The aim was to look at how your average pension fund will pay out. The findings were shocking. The government old age grant was then 410 Rand. The Smith Commission found that almost half of the pension funds pay out less than 410 Rand. Rena Besadenhout is a retired geologist living on the current government grant of 740 Rand. She can't pay her rent and she has no electricity. Yet, she is still in a better position than you may be when you retire.
I've heard many instances of people who thought that they had sufficient in their particular fund. 6 months later when they retire, they then find that they have 50-60% of what they thought they had in the fund because the losses have suddenly kicked in.
Trevor Manuel, the Minister of Finance, says South Africans are uninformed when it comes to their retirement money. Professor Vivian says the issue is not that people don't save enough soon enough.
All the statistics indicate that at least 80% of people who are employed contribute to a pension fund. But the outcome of that fund is not adequate.
Sid Eckley, who worked as National Director for the Council for the Aged all his life, is a case in point. His occupational fund didn't put enough food on the table when it came to payout day.
So, what went wrong? Plain straight, wrong investment options by the managers of the scheme, and, of course, the crash in 1995 of the stock markets, and the inflation, and all that. And basically, I sit now in a situation, I have to work. If I do not work now, I cannot survive.
So what's gone wrong? In the early 90s, the system changed dramatically. Previously, employers guaranteed you a set percentage of your final salary. If your pension fund showed significant losses, your boss would top up the fund when the fund managers played the wrong cards. If money was lost, the risk was not yours. This system was referred to as the defined benefit system.
The defined benefit system is a system where at the end of your life, your benefits are defined. 60% or 70% of your final salary adjusted for inflation for the rest of your life. Now we know under those circumstances what you're going to get.
But employers got tired of taking the financial knocks. So they passed the risk on to you. The defined benefit system was replaced by the riskier defined contribution system.
In a defined contribution fund, the employer takes no responsibility after retirement.
Your retirement money may be in for a dive, exposed to the roller coaster of the stock market.
The losses accrue to each of those 1,000 members in relative proportion.
There's no real research that's ever been done to show that the defined contribution system can produce the results that you want. As we may actually have a system which cannot work, has never been able to work and will never be able to work.
Workers agree to transfer from defined benefit to defined contribution. And once that signature is on the dotted line, there's very little that can be done. And that has created what I consider to be an enormous tragedy.
But who protects fund members against the tragedy of facing a penniless old age? The Institute of Retirement Funds represents the interest of members. Anesh Sundar is Chief Executive Officer. What happens to the fund manager who makes a bad decision?
Well,
Because he's basically gambling. It's not his money.
this is another big issue that we're currently dealing with. It's the issue of governance. We're working quite closely with the Financial Services Board and SARS in dealing with the issue of governance.
So bearing that in mind, wouldn't it just be safer for people to put their money under their mattresses?
Yeah, well, look, that is a difficult issue. I think lots of people are starting to go that route now, where they don't see the benefit anymore in saving for retirement because their monies are being eroded at every possible avenue.
Yet, not only is money lost because the fund managers are making risky decisions, but you are also paying for their bad advice. Just take a look at how your funds are eaten into. There are 16,000 registered funds with a similar fee structure. A fee from your hard-earned money will go to a consultant, actuary fees, VAT, a principal officer's fee, an administration fee, an investment consultant, and an investment manager's fee. According to research by Professor Alwyn de Koker, Wits Professor of Taxation, these costs represented 0.9% of the fund's investment income in 1995. But by 1998, these costs had risen to 6.7%, an increase of over 600% in 3 years. So, the fees are one thing, investment losses are another. In this year, in the Business Day of February 26th, Trevor Manuel is quoted as saying that private sector pension funds lost an estimated 40 billion rand due to bad investments last year alone. On the one hand, you're being squeezed by administration costs and the losses on the investment. On the other hand, there's tax. South Africa is only one of 2 countries which taxes retirement savings. In 1995, the Katz Commission recommended that investment income of pension funds be taxed without looking at the situation of the pensioner.
The Katz Commission looked at the fund and said, oh, here's lots of money, let's tax it. It's my concept of a honeypot. Here's honey, let's grab it, without saying what is the position of the pensioner.
With a 12,000 rand salary, your tax is already 2,357 rand and 50 cents a month. Yet, you will be taxed again and again.
Much of what you save, you earn on an after-tax basis. In other words, you earn your money, you pay your tax, and then you take your money and you save it. You then invest it, and whatever income you earn, you are then taxed on again.
So it's actually sad to think that older people who have made large contributions to the country and paid their taxes have run out of money, and the government of the day are not there to bail them out.
In the last 7 years, just under 35 billion was taken out of pension funds due to tax. In 2001, the Minister of Finance promised that taxation of retirement funds would be reviewed. It's 3 years later. Will the minister ever deliver the promised review?
I'm trustee for the largest pension fund in the country.